now give the floor to the representative of Germany.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to thank at the outset the Secretary General for his briefing on nuclear non-proliferation, disarmament and security. And I would also like to thank him for his leadership in this important area over the years. Non-proliferation, disarmament and arms control play a key role in Germany's foreign and security policy. So we are pleased that these topics are high on the agenda, on the international agenda again. We see the Non-Proliferation Treaty as the cornerstone of the international nuclear non-proliferation regime. We believe that the NPT is in need of constant strengthening. In 2010, its states parties reaffirmed their commitment to the treaty in all its aspects. The NPT parties adopted a comprehensive action plan covering all 3 pillars of the treaty. This outcome was extremely important at a time when the global non-proliferation regime is confronted with serious proliferation challenges. The 2010 Action Plan sets a broad agenda. It spells out a commitment by the nuclear weapon states to further efforts to advance the disarmament in all types of nuclear weapons with the final objective of a world free of nuclear weapons. Along the same lines, I should like to express my appreciation for the US presidency that has organized today's important briefing in the Security Council. We welcome the opportunity to take stock of the achievements almost 3 years after the historic Security Council summit that adopted Resolution 1887. In that resolution, the Council expressed its commitment to creating the conditions for a world without nuclear weapons. My government actively supports the vision presented by President Obama in his 2009 Prague speech of a world without nuclear weapons. The entry into force of the New START Treaty between the US and Russia was a first step in that right direction. More steps towards this long-term goal are necessary. Together with partners in the 10-country Non-Proliferation and Disarmament Initiative, Germany has made concrete proposals to promote the implementation of the key elements of the action plan adopted by the NPT Review Conference in 2010. It is our firm belief that non-proliferation and disarmament are joint security interests of all nations and have to be pursued simultaneously. We also promote accession to the Non-Proliferation Treaty with a view to its universalization. Likewise, we hope for an early entry into force of the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and urge the 8 remaining Annex II states to sign and ratify the CTBT. We see a fissile material cutoff treaty as the next crucial step to achieve the ambitious goal of a world free of nuclear weapons. We stay entirely engaged to support an early start of the negotiations. In this context, Germany wishes to see a conference on disarmament in Geneva that is effectively working. Madam President, Germany sees nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament as mutually reinforcing processes, or, as we say, 2 sides of the same coin. In our firm conviction that progress in disarmament can help proliferation risks to diminish. At the same time, we need an effective non-proliferation regime in order to make substantial disarmament possible. We therefore cannot turn a blind eye to the ongoing proliferation crises. They threaten the very foundation of the global non-proliferation regime, in particular the Non-Proliferation Treaty. They also endanger regional stability. We are directly involved in the efforts with regard to the Iranian nuclear program. Germany remains engaged in finding a negotiated and sustainable solution on the outstanding questions. We strongly advocate negotiations and dialogue to find a long-term comprehensive solution which restores international confidence in the exclusively peaceful nature of Iran's nuclear program. The last meeting with Iran in Istanbul opened the perspective of a new negotiation process. Our efforts in the framework of the E3+3 or P5+1 are aimed at facilitating a sustained and intensive process of serious dialogue. This dialogue, in short time, must lead to concrete confidence-building measures based on reciprocity. We do not want talks for the sake of talks. We have to ensure that all obligations are met by Iran, while fully respecting Iran's right to the peaceful use of nuclear energy. We're convinced that measures played an essential role to move Iran back to the negotiation table. So we have to uphold the pressure. On North Korea, this Council just a few days ago clearly stated that the recent launch using ballistic missile technology constitutes a serious violation of its relevant resolutions. As further provocations cannot be ruled out, the international community must remain firm and united with regard to the DPRK. No more nuclear tests, no launches using ballistic missile technology, a retraction of the announcement of withdrawal from the NPT, the abandonment of existing nuclear programs, and a swift return to the IAEA safeguards. We will stay the course and remain firm in our efforts to leave no room for doubts that all countries have to be accountable for their obligations under the NPT. Madam President, both the fight against terrorism and the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction lie at the very heart of Germany's foreign and security policy. If the two were to merge, we would all be confronted with the most dangerous and devastating situation of our globalized world. We welcome that this Council, which is tasked to deal with the maintenance of international peace and security, seizes the opportunity today and deals with this sensitive issue of utmost importance. Of all the non-proliferation initiatives Germany is supporting, one deserves particular attention, in particular from the New York perspective. Under the wise leadership of my South African colleague, Ambassador Sanku, the 1540 Committee helps states to prevent weapons of mass destruction and their means of delivery from being proliferated to non-state actors. We welcome the 10-year extension of the mandate of this important committee. To demonstrate our support, Germany and the United Nations Office for Disarmament Affairs are organizing a conference in Wiesbaden, Germany, to take place next week. At this conference, the committee is seeking direct interaction with relevant industries and industry groups on ways to jointly facilitate implementation of Resolution 1540. Madam President, nuclear security is a precondition for nuclear non-proliferation. Securing nuclear materials is a common global challenge. In an age marked by globalization and international terrorism, a lack of security in only one of our countries poses a serious threat to all of us. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Following the successful 2010 Nuclear Security Summit in Washington on the protection of weapon-grade materials, we welcome the Seoul Summit less than a month ago. My minister emphasized that we must now focus our efforts on civilian users. These too pose a risk, especially with regard to the threat of a dirty bomb. Almost every country in the world has radioactive sources for civilian purposes. These are often indispensable in medicine, research, and industry. We must, however, act to prevent their misuse and make sure that we have put in place the best possible security measures to safeguard nuclear materials. Madam President, let me conclude by stressing the importance of nuclear disarmament, non-proliferation, and security. Disarmament does not endanger our security, it increases our security. So does non-proliferation and securing nuclear and radioactive materials. These are the three pillars for greater global security and stable peace around the world. Let us continue to work together towards this end. I thank you, Madam President.
I thank the representative of Germany, and I now give the floor to the representative